Hello. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus. So glad that you were able to stop on this post. And I'm hoping that it is not a waste of time, that you really get something out of it. And my subject that I choose to speak on is this: what comes out. So, nightly before I go to bed, I ask God to teach me what I don't get when I'm awake. Last night I heard a preacher teaching about how wonderful God is to those that respect God. The question was asked, what happens to those that ignore God? And the answer, nothing. A result of not believing. Now that got my attention. It didn't represent the God that I know. Here's why. An unwed mother raises her child without a man in the home. The kid knows nothing about his daddy. Is the kid entitled to the resources of life and survival? Is the child entitled to the birthrights afforded every human? The answer is yes. Now, if man has a heart, what kind of God doesn't? There are people that never heard of God or Jesus. Are they to be left out in the wind, drifting any way it blows? Love forbids. To do this is more like human dictators and Trump with his supporters. Now, as I reflect, every act has its consequences, which serves as a teaching mechanism. From this process, you learn what to do or not to do, depending on the outcome that is sought. When it works, it's called good or love. When it doesn't, it's called bad or evil. In historical biblical times, a collection of rules were derived that determined the do's and don'ts. These rules, when put with the actions of people, a lot of pain and suffering occurred at the hand of mankind, by mankind. Now let's forward a little bit in history. Another messenger came and proclaimed that of all the rules, the most important were to love the creator of all existence, as if everything good came as a result of that creator. The other rule is to care about people as if each one represented one another, as if each one represented you. This way, people would be protected of one another from any harm that came their way. Now let's forward a little closer in this history. Another messenger came along at a time when the previous message caught people in turmoil with themselves. They wanted to do one thing, but ended up doing something else, as if a war was going on within them, mind and flesh at war. Now this messenger told them he had a message that he didn't consult with anyone about, a message that was given to him due to the experience of his life. Now that message was that even though they had this war going on within, if they believed that this previous messenger was sent from the Creator as his son, they would be forgiven for the results of the war they had with themselves. And I know you think what I'm talking about. The previous was Jesus, and this one is Paul. The message said to them that they were not perfect. They will make mistakes, and they should learn from them. That the Creator loved them and prepared the best of all things for them as they walk in the path of them. This is the love of the Creator of creation, no less than the love of a daddy for his child, regardless of their rebellion. However, listen to me now, there's another force moving in the presence of creation. It represents the other outcome of actions taken. It is the bad and evil outcome. Its purpose is to substantiate itself just as real and credible as love and good. Its intent is to deceive doers of love and good to accept bad and evil as the most advantageous approach to existence. Now, to accomplish this, the method is to lie, to cheat, to steal, to rob, to hate, to exploit. Now, this conduct creates poverty. It creates crime and violence amongst the people in an attempt to divide them and cause doers of love and good to turn to bad and evil, by themselves turning to lying, cheating, stealing, robbing, hating, and exploiting, creating the foundation for terror, killing, and war amongst the people. Oh boy, this is some good stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Please pay attention to me. The plan of love and good is for all humans to enjoy life in the human form as if they were living in a mystical heaven. Now, the plan of bad and evil is to exploit humans, to benefit the evilest doer as if they are gods, while having no concern for humankind beyond slavery and exploitation. Now, here's how it's done. One is easy, the other is complicated. God, the author of love and good. Satan, the author of bad and evil. Now, from the beginning, listen, ladies and gentlemen, pay real close attention to me, because there's a message in here that I think everybody, even the churchgoers, should get. This is not, you know, I'm a street preacher, and I preach at a level that street people who don't go to church can get my message. But hopefully those of you who go to church can get this message as well. From the beginning of time, as humans experienced life, they made note and later recorded the outcomes. Over time, they would go back and read and study and share with others the history of their actions. Now, what God did is, when appropriate, God would reveal God to someone, a miracle. This miracle eliminated doubt. When this one that got the miracle confronted a situation where evil was apparent, love and good would be represented in contrast to the bad and evil. Now, this was done so that the person or people with no choice was available. People, after love and good, would assemble themselves on a certain day of the week, and testify. This was called that holy day, that day that was set aside when there should be doing no work or anything like that, but you honor God. Well, on this day, love and good would assemble themselves and testify. They would thank God for what had been done for them, and they would speak what they were going to do for God based on the challenges they experienced. Now, this assembly was later called the church. Now, Satan, you've heard that Satan tries to duplicate everything that God does. Well, now Satan, the spirit of bad and evil, found on the premise of deception, it was a little bit more complicated. Since they produce nothing and own nothing, the devil owns nothing, render to Caesar that which is Caesar, render to the devil that which is the devil. Remember, Since they produced nothing and owned nothing, they had to take what others had. That might be a little familiar about your own history. They had to lie. They had to cheat. They had to steal. So what did they do? They established secret societies and organizations. And their agenda was to take over the human population. And since the people of love and good were servants to one another, they had to be convinced they really didn't need one another. And whatever benefit they had could be greater if they switched. Stop doing good and love and switch to bad and evil, and you would have a greater reward. This is the message that Satan wanted people to receive. Now, to achieve this end, they came up with the use of, I know you know this. What did they replace it with? Well, they came up with the use of money to replace the way of getting needs met. You know, they tell you right now, without money you can't get nothing done. Nothing. But with money, they even tell you can get everything done. Now, evil, what they would do is would play friendly to areas they wanted to exploit. And when least expected, they would con or take what was given to others freely. You've heard that story before. When others needed to have needs met, and it was difficult now because they had been tricked and lost what they had, they needed money to purchase what used to be theirs. Now, to get the money, they had to serve Satan's plan. You know what I'm talking about. A plan which over time became accepted as normal. Right now, you know what you have to do to get your money, don't you? You have to work. And where do you work? You work on jobs that give you the money. And what is that all about? That's a part of Satan's plan that we all do because today it is considered as normal. That makes what I'm telling you right now sounds totally ridiculous. You basically don't want to hear, and I'm surprised that there are many of you that still listening because you've accepted Satan's way as normal. You know I'm telling you the truth. Now, this plan allowed evil to eventually take over states and nations by controlling those that were put in positions of control and power to make laws and enforce the will of evil over good. They would see that the evilest people got the positions in government and churches. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now, the plan calls for evil dictators everywhere. Yes, the plan of the devil calls for evil dictators everywhere. Russia got Putin. Now, when I say evil dictators, you know what that means. That means people got no rights. They can kill them and do anything they want to, anytime they want to, and get away with it. Why? Because the devil is running the show. And right now in Russia, Russia got Putin. In North Korea, they got Kim Jong-un. And in China, they got Jinping. I might be pronouncing that wrong, but China has it. In the Philippines, they got Emilio Aguinaldo. In America, they got Trump. Now, this is just to name a few. What's going on? When everything is lined up, chaos will be established, and the military will be called forth to control this chaos. And when it is settled, the people will be reduced to what the plan called for in the beginning, for them to be slaves. And the powers of evil take their seats, and Satan rules. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Ladies and gentlemen, I have just told you the absolute truth. I cut everything down that you recognize in history, what you read, all the stories, all of everything. I have given it to you in a few paragraphs. Now, what is my job? Why am I telling you this? My job is to spread the news and to wake the people by reminding them that God, my friends, is the creator. Don't forget that now. All things made by God. God is the creator. And Satan is the deceiver. Satan is the taker. Didn't make anything, but it deceives you and take what God has given. Say it again. God is the maker, the giver. Satan, the deceiver, the taker. I am to remind humans that on earth, the power has been given to the people. The power has been given to you. And by choice, the people can defeat all evil by rejecting it. That was the message of Jesus. Yes, God has the power. God gave you the power. The deceiver tricked you and took it. But I'm to remind you that the deceiver only got it because you gave it to him. All you got to do is reject it, and he will flee. This message, getting rid of human leadership, let me tell you, this is what it's all about. This means getting rid of human leadership, because right now it represents Satan, it represents evil, it represents all of the ugliness, badness. That's what the powers do today. This is what they represent. So this message and the message that I bring to you is to let you know that you've got to get rid of human leadership that is foreign to love and good. If it's not of love and good, you got to get rid of it. You got to return to service to one another as the means of having their needs met. You got to turn to the original plan. Everybody got a gift. Everybody participate in what they all benefit from. And in so doing, they create, when it's appropriate, all of the things that they need, all of the things that they want, all of the things that they desire. This is service to one another. My friends, you got to return to it. But not only that, you got to discontinue the use of any form of money. This is a substitute. You don't need one another. You got to resist all of that. Get rid of it. But you know what? Choice still remains. Choose God, love, and good. Bad and evil will flee. Say it again. Choose God, which is love and good. Bad and evil, which is Satan, will flee. And you, my friend, will receive heaven here on earth. Yes, you receive heaven. You do that, and you can experience your heaven right here on earth. I've been telling you for 40 years. And now I'm telling you in a simple form. You will receive heaven right here on earth. But you can choose Satan and submit to bad and evil. And you will receive the worst hell imaginable. Where? Right here on earth. And you know what? The choice is yours. Thank you very much.